Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So in this video, I'm going to answer a question from a viewer. They left me a question in my last video, learning frame control. And this question comes from GD. And this person asked, do you have any tips on how to remember concepts and information from these types of book? I feel like sometimes there can be so much info to take in that I forget parts of it. All right, GD. So one of the concepts that I want you to try and get out of this video that I've learned over the years, over the last 5-6 years since I started reading books again, is that repetition is the mother of skill. And we will talk about why it is the mother of skill and how implementing that kind of process into your life is going to help you retain and to remember information from the books that you read. So GD, we'll just go ahead and get into it. Here's a couple of my tips that I would give to you if you're trying to remember information from these types of books. Highlight and underline the parts that you want to remember. When you highlight specific parts of the book that you're reading, maybe even studying, or you're highlighting the highlights of the book, that's going to help you remember the key concepts about what the author's talking about and what kind of message they're actually trying to get and portray to you as the reader. Okay. And also underlining those key words, those key elements, and the highlights, of course, or the highlights of the book are going to help you understand and take in those concepts that the author's trying to get across from you. Next, reread the book. Okay. Read it over and over again. You could even read over certain parts of the book that will kind of refresh your memory. Something that I do when I get ideas for videos. I'll go back to things that I've once read or have to reread again just to talk about, and it gives me good ideas, and it kind of helps ignite that creativity for me when I want to get into topics that I want to talk about. And lastly, talk about the book. Talk about the book you've been reading repeatedly. Try to regurgitate the information in your own way so people understand what you're talking about and what the book is about. And that's some of the best advice that I can give you right there. I've noticed that when I am really starting to get into a book, or when I remember, hang on. So talk about the book that you've been reading and talk about what the book is about. And that's going to help you retain a lot of the information that you are reading and that you will be rereading to make sure that that information sticks. It'll help it stick in a better way. When you regurgitate it or tell it in your own way, but you're still getting the point across about what the book and information is about, what the author's relaying to the reader, that is going to be one of the best ways for you to retain that kind of information from the book. And lastly, read the book 10 to 15 times or more. Repetition is the mother of skill. Okay, I can't take all the credit for those quotes. I've gotten that from Corey Wayne. His method reigns true in any book that I've ever really gotten into, and even some of the books that he's recommended as well as other people that I follow on YouTube, people that I follow and that I learn from. The books that they've recommended, I've always tried to read more than once. I've tried to read them over or listen to them more than once, like this last book, Pitch Anything. And what you're going to find is that with that repetition, you're going to retain a lot more information as well, aside from the other tips that I just talked about earlier in the video. And that is going to set you up for success in learning about those concepts, learning about what the author is trying to relay to you, and just overall retaining information. Whenever we read a book, we only retain about, I think it's about 15 to 20% after the first time that we've read it. So it's important to reread material and to also just go through the entire book all over again a whole time, and then do that 10 to 15 times. So I can't say this enough. I definitely recommend Corey Wayne's method on this. And I've definitely read his books and listened to his books over and over again, many, many times, just to retain information that I've wanted to retain, as well as reading and listening to other books that I've listened to and read over the years multiple times at work, while I'm on a drive, working out, going for a walk, those kinds of things. So you'll find different techniques on how to fit the information from the book that you're trying to listen to or read into your life, as well as just keeping reading as it is as a hobby, just reading the book and going back through the information. And those are my tips for you, GD, and I hope that this helps you out, man. So GD, I hope that this answers your question. Thank you for the comment on on one of my last videos about learning frame control from Pitch Anything by Oren Klaff. It's a great book. Listen to it or read it a couple times and just follow those tips that I left for you in this video, and you'll be right as rain. And I wish you the best. And for those of you that have just found me on YouTube, if you're just finding me for the first time, this is the first video you've ever seen, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. And I'll talk to you all soon.